we're talking about yesterday. Bob Myers stepping down. How about one of my kids, my middle child, who's now 21, used to use a phrase 5 years ago, Aukies.
I've never heard that one.
Short for awkward.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm out to
Yeah, like I would do something in front of her friends, and she'd be like,
say hello.
Aukies, Dad. Aukies.
That's Aukies.
There were some Aukies yesterday.
What if I give you this before you elaborate? I wish I had chicken, Steiny. I would give something for text of the day. This is from the 415.
Okay.
I heard Joe tell the world he took Bob for granted.
Huh.
I like that. Like there's something to that.
Yeah, sometimes we take for granted the ones we love most. And it's a shame. It is a shame. Man. Let's go to David. David.
Not to the 30th.
David is in Hayward. Hey, David, how you doing? What'd you make of yesterday?
What's up, fellas? It's always good to hear your voice on the radio. You guys have an awesome show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, man, I'd love to hear you guys. So, first I want to tip my hat to Bob Myers because I think he was just vital to this organization, and I think a lot of people underestimate his impact, and I think him leaving is going to be a big deal. But so hats off to Bob. But what you guys were talking about with Lacob and some of the awkward moments, I felt those yesterday too, and it kind of made me think of that saying that sometimes your greatest strength can be your greatest weakness. And I think that applies to Lacob in that, personally, I think he's got this, insatiable desire to win at all costs, and this belief in himself and what he does is, never wrong and always right. And I think that's driven him and made him who he is today, but that's his greatest strength. But the weakest side of that comes when it's time to deal with somebody like Bob and Bob's situation. I think it doesn't allow him to put himself in someone else's shoes and deal with the idea that somebody doesn't want to be part of his, world. And so when he was saying things like Bob was joking, I didn't see it coming, I'm going to keep working him, to me it spoke to this fact that, he can't possibly deal with someone who doesn't want to be with him. And so I think it doesn't allow him to deal with situations like Myers getting burned out or Myers not feeling appreciated. And so that's kind of what I heard. And it was kind of awkward, and I kind of feel for Bob, but, that's just my 2 cents on it. But I'll take it off the air. Thanks, guys.
No, I appreciate it. Some interesting thoughts there. I'd love to get an expert of organizations or management. How important is stability? Is there any way to measure that?
We should get your boy Ellis on. Ellison.
Who?
Larry.
What about him?
We should get him on.
He doesn't do a lot of interviews.
Good for you.
He's kind of reclusive in a way.
Yeah. Well, he just came to mind, but yeah.
Okay. Because, I'm looking at the Warriors now. Myers is walking away. All right, what are you going to do with Steve Kerr? What do you do with Steve Kerr?
But I think there's a flip side to that. Steve Kerr may be tired.
Maybe.
I've saw this thing through for, you know what I mean? And that's okay. Hopefully it's not the case, but Steiny, is there 1% of your body that thinks Bob looked at the state of this team, the contracts, the Jordan Poole thing, and that had anything to do with, you know what, I'm tired?
Yeah, of course.
Wow. And I'm not mad at that.
I think it's a ton of different things.
That's human.
I mean, the bottom line is it's going to be tough to keep this thing rolling.
And all these specific rules, they're calling them the Warrior rules that Joe said will blow past. Steiny, those were implemented. That was haterade towards the Warriors.
By the way,
Lacob
said yesterday he calls Bob 5 to 20 times a day.
He's the boss, though, Steiny.
Right, but he's also the boss who just said you got to let them do their jobs.
Right.
So is he letting them do their jobs, or is he calling Bob 18 times a day?
They call that handsy.
Yikes. Yeah. Anyway, we're dissecting Joe Lacob's management style, never having worked for him. I'm willing to acknowledge that we don't.
What if
really
he goes
know.
outside or to bring somebody?
I was thinking about that.
That's on the table now. I thought, he's going to be Joe Lacob. Dude, I think, man.
I don't know why. I don't think he's bringing somebody in from outside.
Why do you feel that way?
I think it would be too big of an adjustment for both, for the new person and all the people in there.
Now, I think it would be easier for the new person from the outside because there are no ties. I don't care about feelings.
But if I'm Mike Dunleavy or Kirk Lacob, here comes somebody out of nowhere. And now they're going to say, hey, we need to move off Draymond
Well, they're
Green.
not really technically from out of nowhere. They've been doing the job, or they got some experience. I just worry about, are people going to look at Kirk Lacob, if I'm Joe Lacob, oh, he's not ready? Or is he going to worry about Dunleavy and his reputation as a player? Might not mean nothing to Joe, and it could be Mike. But, I'm just wondering, if I'm him, Steiny, those two things I care about. That would give me somebody else.
Tell me, 888-957-9570 is the number. What did you hear yesterday during that press conference? What did you hear? Did you hear anything that worries you moving into the future? Here's what I heard.
Tell me.
I heard Mike Dunleavy's the front runner. Take a listen.
Mike's great. He's as good a GM as if he wants it. He'll be great if that's what he wants. It's his call. It's Joe's call. It's not my call, but that's what he wants to do. He'll be great. He knows more about basketball than I do. He's grew up in it. He was born into it with his dad. He played in it. That's his calling. And that wasn't my thought at the time, honestly. I just thought we're always looking for people that'll make us better. Joe's always about bringing in talent. I didn't have an idea at the time that I was grooming him. I mean, he's more my friend than coworker. But he's really good, and he would be fantastic if that's the choice. But I'd be lying if I thought 4 years ago, let's bring in Mike and he can assume this thing. If I told him if that's what he wants, then I'm all fully supportive. I said I'll help with Draymond if he needs it.
Bob Myers.
I missed that. Wow.
You know what else is? Something that we've not really acknowledged, but it's part of the story. They're all talking about 2019. That's when they brought Dunleavy in. You know why? Because Bob was thinking of leaving in 2019.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned it. Okay.
Bob was thinking of leaving in 2019.
For the same reasons, not a different place.
Well, I don't know. I just know that in 2019, after they lost to the Raptors, he was thinking of stepping down. And my understanding is his brother-in-law, his wife's brother, said, you know what, it wouldn't look good right now. Because Clay had just gotten hurt, Durant was going to leave, and Bob didn't want it to seem like he was bailing out.
Yeah, I appreciate
a 15 and 50 season.
Yikes.
So there you go. 408 Steiny, what I got from Joe Lacob in that presser is that he micromanages.
Yeah.
That's never good.
I think he admitted to it kind of too. He's like, I'm hands-on.
Right.
That's who I am.
Yeah. So it sounds to me like there could be an incongruity between being hands-on and then letting his guys do their jobs.